Yes, positive enough a start by Middlesex. So much time left in this game, 3 days, and if they bat well and the pitch plays well enough, Middlesex will look to score and put Glamorgan out of sight. But of course we know that can all change. Glamorgan have to bowl well with this depleted attack. No Van der Houten, and they haven't got Mayor Hamza, their overseas signing. But here's McIlroy, comes in, bowls to Robson very wide outside that off stump and goes through low down. Kevin Hand is back alongside me. And an opportunity here now to get a big score, Kev, for against, as I said, a depleted Glamorgan attack because of various injuries.
Yeah, they'll be keen to, because batting let them down last year, Middlesex, and that's why they're back in Division 2.
As Robson waits and plays forward, he'll well, his partner Stormman wanted a run, but Crane was onto it very, very quickly, and there is no run. Deploy, who before this game was second in the total of runs scored this season, second to Glamorgan's Colin Ingram. Don't know how much the difference was, but Ingram didn't get many today. Is this next ball? Oh, extraordinary looking shot from Robson. He was thinking first of going to play it off the back foot through the covers, and then changed his mind as the ball deviated. Let's have a look at that again. He changed his mind and just went over the top of the outside edge. Robson's on 6, Stormman with a couple of boundaries is on 12. Here's the next ball, which is left and goes through to the wicket keeper. Still a lovely still afternoon or early evening, call it what you may, but it's we're blessed with some fine weather. Possible shower tomorrow.
The picture's barely changed all day for us, has it? Some lovely fluffy cloud, blue sky, and great company as well.
Thank you, sir. You're not so bad yourself. As in comes McIlroy, and he's pushed out and fielded there by Goving at short mid-wicket.
It'd be funny to mention that Ebervale match.
That was some years ago, Kev.
2005, 2006, whatever it was. It'd be funny to go back and have a look and see what the teams were, which was the first time probably that... No, it wouldn't have been the first time that you and I met. So that game here where the last of the red carpet, like the press box we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the little one.
Yeah.
McIlroy bowls to Robson. Robson goes off the back foot and plays it gently out into the covers. 5 dot balls in this over. Score remains on 19 without loss.
But perhaps the first time that I met Nick Ebervale then, unless Nick was here. To be honest, I'll be wholly honest with you, Ed. I can only just about remember you from that game here. The overwhelming memory was that corridor of... it was its very own corridor of uncertainty by that point, wasn't it? The old press box and the red carpet.
Should have taken a picture towards the last days.
Yeah, yeah. It's still quite vivid in my memory,
it was
though,
sad
that little corridor.
to leave it, actually. And
you think of all the greats that walked through there.
I'm sorry that there was so much done to this ground. But there we are. Wanted progress.
Here's Harris. He's over the wicket to Stoneman. He drives up to mid-off and there's no run. So what's left of the original ground? Nothing really.
No. Dressing room used to where the big stand away to our right.
Yeah.
That was all grass over there.
Yeah.
Where the new pavilion is. The scoreboard was ground level over just underneath where the big scoreboard is away to our left. That was a little stand going across there. All very quaint.
Harris in bowls and onto the hip. It's worked fine by Stoneman for 4. A slide by McIlroy, but it beats him. In fact, it's not McIlroy down there. It is Gorvin. Long leg, but yeah, short and onto the hip. Wasn't that short. Stoneman got bowled by one like that at Lord's around his legs a couple of weeks back. Couldn't believe it. Looked around and the leg stump pushed back. Just going back and across.
Stormman dealing in boundaries here.
I felt he might be in the mood for this one as Harris comes in, bowls, and That one's driven only as far as cover. A tumbling stop. Oh, and
Oh, the sun, is it?
a tumbling stop. Picked himself up and then tumbled again. Saw the funny side of it. Ended up on his knees with a double teapot on and a big smile. Then looks back at the turf.
And as this positive start, it might just be time now to away with this slip and put him out on the extra cover boundary. A bit defensive, but it's not a big total.
23 without loss. Harris bowls, and there goes Stoneman looking to slam another one through the covers. Consecutive balls. Only as far as mid-off this one though, no run. 3.45 the run rate, which is something along the lines of that which Middlesex went at. Conceded this morning. So
they were more than that. At one stage, you were going for 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right, they were, weren't they? Yeah, it was something. Perhaps it was even more than that.
Stopped then after the opening pair were out.
Yeah. Here goes Harris. Bowls, and that's dabs. Defensively by Stoneman over the top of it to point. No run.
Just pointing here now to see that there's only one ball beat the bat, and that was from Harris a couple of overs ago. So,
well, it's funny because those first 3 overs when Roland Jones was bowling, I remember saying to Nick Webb this might turn out to be a good
toss to
lose. But how the day's turned around since then. Middlesex got it right all of a sudden. They haven't looked back really. Harris is in. Bowls. Open face drive. Oh, that races. Races to the point boundary and pops over the boundary rope for 4 more. Just a gentle offering, but the timing was immaculate from Stoneman on that. Having gone hard at a few, just opened the face slightly. Backward point had no chance. But goodness me, did that fly across the square. 27 without loss after 7.
Yeah, I really think that Sam North East has got to look to a change bowler, because you can't have 2 4s in that over, and he's, apart from one maiden, James Harris has leaked 4s in every over. I did notice Gorvin there, who was winding and might well be coming into the attack. Gorvin 5 for 40 in his last game, but it's McIlroy to continue. Balls to Robson, and Robson goes back and plays it out into the covers. We were stressing before the Middlesex innings that you've a score like this, you've got to defend. You have to bowl tightly, but that has not proved to be the case, unfortunately. McIlroy's not too bad. He's into his 4th over, 0 for 8.
It's almost like the Bamber and Roland Jones comparison at the start for Middlesex, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But as you say, it was worse.
McIlroy bowls, played out to mid-off. Robson is on 6. Stoneman racing along. He's at 20 off 23 balls. Just to remind you that there is no Amir Hamza for Glamorgan being rested, having played the first 5 games, as McIlroy is in bowls, and this is well outside the off stump, but Robson really has nothing at all to do with it. .27 for no wicket in pursuit of 183 for first innings lead. McIlroy past the umpire, bowls, and it's played rather late there by Robson. Good accurate bowling at the moment from McIlroy, kept Robson quiet for the last 2 or 3 overs. Gorville practicing with their mid-wicket, so we might see him coming on. He'll bowl wicket to wicket more often than not, keep us standing up, but Cook will probably go back to the new ball. He is accurate, but up until the last game hasn't been particularly threatening. McIlroy bowls, and that's a good ball that comes back into him, and again 5 dot balls. If he bowls another dot ball here, he will have bowled 4 overs for just 8 runs.
4 field for the left-hander, isn't it? For the right-hander, sorry.
Yep.
Left arm over to the right-hander.
This to complete the over. Wide of the off stump, goes through to Cook. Gorvin does trot up towards the stumps at this end, the Cathedral end. And he will now take over, bowling his medium pace. And Harris has bowled 4 overs for, what is that, 16 or 18, which
there's a change of bowling at the Cathedral Road end, because coming on to bowl for Glamorgan is Andy Gorvin.
Yeah, there we go, the change comes.
yes,
Gorvin on to replace Harris.
not quite such an attacking field, just the 2 slips and then defensive all round. 3 men on the offside and a short mid wicket and mid on, deep mid wicket and a fine leg for Andy Gorvin.
He's over the wicket as he bowls, and he's driven through point, and that will be 4 more. Cover point this time. It goes across the square, not quite racing as the last one did with the open face from Stoneman, but it's cover. Ul Hassan retreating to collect this one. The outcome's the same.
Yeah, and still plenty of overs left this evening. That's 17, 15. Sun shining on the score.
What have we got? 12.5.
Yeah, 13 overs basically.
Here's the scampering approach of Gorvin down the leg side. It's taken by the keeper. Stoneman offered
Have you had enough
cursory
cakes
glance
today?
at it.
Scoffing all day.
Honestly, Ed, I don't know. Mind you, I just saw you have a little one of those, or maybe more than one now. Look at that pack of donuts next year. I haven't touched any of those. I was done. I couldn't do any more.
Well,
But it has been a day of scoffing. Can't do 4 days like this, Ed. And this wasn't even a rain day. It's a full one down the leg side through to the keeper. It's the rain days that really get you, isn't it?
Meal tonight?
Oh,
Nick tries not to have a meal when we're away. I do. I have to. put on
Ed, I
some
don't
weight.
know where you put it. Where do you put it? You said you had a brownie at breakfast, you said. Or second breakfast, anyway.
Well, yeah, not second breakfast, a cup of coffee.
You had a cup of coffee for breakfast?
Yeah.
Second
No,
breakfast was the brownie.
Second
Oh.
breakfast was coffee.
Here's a length ball to Stoneman from Gorvin. It is such a rapid approach to the crease that he has. He really is, as he's just about to leap. He's still in his full sprint. You know, usually it's a long stride, isn't it? A long-legged stride which leads to that front foot bounding the bowler into the air. And yeah, with Gorvin, it almost looks as though he's just going to keep running all the way through.
Keeper will be up, I would have thought, before
Here he
very
goes.
long.
Look at those legs kicking out behind him. Goodness me. Forward goes Stoneman
delivery.
defending back to Gorvin, and there's no run. Who does he remind me of? I mean, those legs were around underneath him. Can't even think of anybody to compare him to. Wacker Yunus used to really sprint in hard, didn't he? But, you know, again, he was a long-legged stride. This is like a scampered sprint.
Not quite comparison.
No, no. But look, in he comes, bowls, and this ball's worked back to a square on the leg side for a single by Stoneman. There's 2 set back on the leg side boundary now. Long leg and deep square, 32 without loss. I can't think of anybody really that it compares to. Just absolutely roadrunner-like into the crease. Yes, exactly. Well, we had this the other week. Who was it now? I was trying to think. He was like Roadrunner when starting. His legs were starting to go, but he wasn't going anywhere. Whereas Gorvin, actually, he's motoring along. You need the puffs of dust going around him is all. Who was the other one that... he kind of took a couple of steps to his right. He started just off, and then he'd take a couple of steps, and then he'd start going, but he wasn't moving anywhere.
Oh, I got a nice mention in Wisdom.
Oh, by who?
In the preface
Oh.
by... if we go halfway down, and glad
Lawrence
to see
Booth.
McEnroe bowls to the left-handed Stoneman, who pushes up to mid-on. Hasn't faced a lot of him. Somebody... Who was telling? Oh, Andrew Radd of Northampton was telling me that he and I and somebody else, John Curtis, was it?
Yes.
Worcestershire.
Wait, really, Ed? Is this for broadcast? Well, it's in
derogatory.
It's in Wisden, so I guess it is.
The Bible that goes round the globe.
Ed Bevan's decision to retire after 33 years covering Glamorgan for Wisden.
Yes,
Came too late for a mention a year ago. To Eddie, our belated gratitude and best wishes. Andrew Rad ticks off 33 years in this edition, and Worcestershire's John Curtis 30.
So Radders will overtake me this year.
Yeah.
Next ball is forced away, well fielded in the covers, and there is no run. Problem is, now having retired, I don't get a free Wisden
Why have you retired?
from writing,
Have you?
because I'm getting older. Enjoy this now, it's not so much hard work. Nick will tell you that.
But you retired from doing Wisden, though.
Yes. Well, I think I've done my share. McEnroe drive, that's a good looking shot, but it's well fielded there, mid on, which draws applause from the crowd.
So is this your final one? Are you? Did you do like you did last year?
No, I'll carry on doing this.
Yeah. Oh no,
The
Nick Webb.
BBC want me. You obviously haven't read your Wisden to see that there's new correspondence.
Mine only just arrived. I missed the dinner this year. Who's this Nick Webb fella then?
Don't know. Young whippersnappers, the next ball is a good delivery. He's bowling well here.
Townsend had his eye on my spot at Middlesex. He said, "Come on, Kev, when are you going?"
David Townsend.
Yeah. He said,
Does he watch every ball?
Well, he could do now because he could watch the live stream from Thailand, couldn't he? But he said to me a couple of years back, cheeky so and so. He said, "Come on, Kev, I always fancied having my. Give it to me. I'll do it." You don't watch every ball, I said.
McElroy is in and bowls, and this is pushed back forward.
Wonder what Norman de Mesquita's first year covering Middlesex was for. Because I took it over from Norman when he sadly passed away a few years back.
The Mosquito, as we used to call him.
Yes.
32 without loss at the end of the over, and a good maiden again. 0 for 8 to 5. That's good bowling.
God, you and Norman on mic together. That must have been a pair of voices.
Who's that?
Yourself and Norman on mic together.
Norman, yeah.
That must
And
have been
he
a pair of
scored
voices.
as well as commentating.
They should have been paying attention.
And it's not the easy scoring as they do with laptop. It was the dot, dot, that. Norman, bless him, yes. He was the one, and you were telling me at Lord's earlier on in the season, that they didn't want to cook dinner. He didn't want to cook dinner, which I won't forgive him.
Here's Corvin in bowls. That's driven by Robson to mid-off, and there's no run. So the story was relayed to me. It was Norman that did away with the hot lunches for the press at Lord's because he said, "You don't want a hot lunch. You want a hot dinner. We just want sandwiches."
Well, you can't afford a hot dinner in London, as I found out.
Yeah, exactly. Can't afford a dinner at all.
Nick and I were up every night to a well-known supermarket.
Yeah.
Up the top of the St John's Wood Road with the young students and everybody else.
Here's Corvin. Bowls, and right in behind this one, Robson pushes back into the onside. There's no run.
And if you just to interrupt you, if you decide to have a pint of beer to close the plate, it'll cost you £7.
It'll cost you your match fee.
Not far off. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, London prices.
Tell me about it.
Goodness me. I didn't realise. But it's an affluent area. They can afford to do it. The inhabitants of St John's Wood.
11th over, 32 without loss, and Robson works out nicely through square, picks up a single. Hassan comes around from mid-wickets. Robson 7 from 28. This is very much the start we anticipated from these two. Stoneman's 25 from 35. More the aggressor of the two, but both will be thinking about going big in their contrasting fashions. But yeah, it was a good game, that one at Lord's. Just a shame, really, wasn't it? That, again, those first 2 rounds of the season, because we haven't all seen each other, of course, since Stoneman's 333 and Middlesex is near 700, whatever it was.
Lots of things happened there. You had Sam North East, and then you had Ryan Higgins,
Stoneman awaits as this is short, but it doesn't get up and it dies through to the keeper. Stoneman looking to cut at it. He's rather jabbing down onto the ball. Even still, it got through, shooting down below.
Gives you a chance, doesn't he, Stoneman? Plays his shots.
He does. He's a well. I mean, again, he'd have grown up on Chesterley Street, which was a great one, wasn't it, for picking up wickets up there?
Yeah.
Graham Onions used to go through them, didn't he?
Chris Rushworth.
Yeah. Stoneman is solidly in behind this one, almost in the splice. He defends that one. Good from Gorvin. 6 off his 11 deliveries so far. But yeah, that match at Lord's, then it was off to Wantage Road for Middlesex the next week against Northamptonshire, and rinse and repeat basically with the Kookaburra. Yeah. It was a pretty dull one, that. Although Middlesex fancied it, had the final day not been rained off, that they could have got out there, thrashed a bit, and maybe put third innings pressure on as Stoneman works this down to long leg for a single. Stoneman moves to 26, and it's 11 overs done, 34 without loss.
I must go and tell the good people in the language of heaven what's been going on here today.
The language of heaven. Are you going to speak to them in Cockney? Yeah, I've just I haven't had a chance to open. My wisdom's only just arrived. I haven't had a chance to open it yet, but I've just looked above it and it says Lord's Prayer, Kevin Hand. You can just put underneath it Lord's Prayer for Kevin Hand. He's McElroy, welcome back. Nick Webb, Bevan has departed. Yeah, those first 2 rounds, Nick, you can tell us where Glamorgan went to and what happened, but from a Middlesex perspective and also from speaking to everybody else up and down the country, it almost felt as though the first 2 rounds and all the scores with them need little asterisks that said Kookaburra rounds.
McElroy bowls and Stoneman plays it on the leg side, and there is no run.
Which is a real shame.
Glamorgan were at home to Derbyshire. Bizarrely, the ball turned sharply from before lunch on the first day, which has never been seen before in recent decades anyway at Sophia Gardens. Glamorgan got a narrow lead on first innings of 30 yards, 40-ish. As McElroy bowls and Stoneman turns on the leg side and will pick up just the single down to Al Hassan at deep backwards square. Middlesex 35 without loss. So, we had 2 relatively low-scoring first innings, and then the pitch absolutely flattened out on days 3 and 4. Glamorgan declared at 361 for 7, setting Derbyshire 400, and never looked like bowling them out. So it was rather dull draw as Rees and Guest batted out time, the 4th wicket pair. So yeah, not too eventful, but not a run feast. As that is driven by Robson back to the bowler, and McElroy cannily trying to deflect it back towards the stumps, but missed. And Stoneman was home anyway. So yes, the opening rounds and the Kookaburra ball were not viewed generally as a success by many spectators. Well, Grant Bradburn was quite keen about it when I spoke to him at Lord's. As forward comes Robson and defends to mid-off, and there's no run. You could see the point that maybe bowlers need to be something other than canny 70 to 75 mile an hour accurate English or Welsh seamers, but on the other hand that's always been a successful way to bowl in conditions for much of the British summer, so that's why we produce bowlers like that on these shores. McElroy bowls and Robson is defending to mid-off once more, and there is no run. And you might as well say, well, why do India produce loads of spinners, and West Indies in days of yore produce loads of big strapping fast bowlers? Well, they were the best way of getting wickets in their respective conditions at home. McIlroy bowls and Robson works it to square leg, and there is no run. Oohs and ahs, suggestions that he might have played a little bit across the line there. Just a single off the McIlroy over, and Middlesex are 35 without loss in reply to Glamorgan's 183 all out. Just 9 overs remain this evening, and as long as Middlesex don't lose more than one more wicket, then they will be absolutely delighted with today's proceedings.
Did you make the Wisdom dinner this year then?
Yes, I did, yeah. Just myself and Radders, I think, from the BBC contingent who...
Yeah, it was Champions League semi-final that night. I couldn't get out of it. I did ask them if they could move the Bayern Munich-Arsenal game, but they tried their best. They couldn't quite. Here's Gorvin bowls, and forward goes Stoneman pushing to cover. No run. 35 without loss. 5:45.
Yeah, it was nice experience to say one has dined in the long room at Lord's, old boy.
Who was the guest speaker? Oh, that suggests the red wine was good.
Right, the name has eluded me. I can... yes.
Gorvin bowls and Stoneman drives to mid-off. No run. Held the pose for a moment.
There's the gentleman who writes...
books,
political stuff as well for one of the more serious newspapers, whose name has completely gone out of my head.
There we go. He was an author and writer.
Oh well, sort of political journo more.
Gorvin bowls and leg side again. It's worked by Stoneman, but this time long leg gets around to fine leg and holds them to a single. Stoneman moves to 28-36. For no wicket midway through the 13th.
Yeah, 3 and over, so not quite as fast as Glamorgan's start, but Glamorgan's innings just dried up and then fell apart in the afternoon session.
Gorvin bowls, forward goes Robson, pushing back, and there's no run. I'm having a look now. Wisdom Dinner 2024 speaker. No, can't find it. Comes Gorvin bowls, forward defence from Robson. No run once more. I suppose the Wisdom cricket handle would have the... because it'd have all the photos, wouldn't it? Went to the Wisdom X page. Still doesn't sound right, does it? Wisdom X.
No, I mean, you send...
X-rated Wisdom.
You send someone an X message, sounds like... you think of it X-rated and after
like
the 9 o'clock watershed.
HR could be in contact. It's Gorvin bowls, and on the back foot, Robson defends into the onside. No run.
Yes, I send them an X message. Oh yes, get done for harassment for that. You can send us an X message, preferably a clean one, on NitWeb 2017 or Kevin Hand Sport on that particular social media network, or you can email me at nickweb2017@gmail.com.
What night of the week was it, Webby? What was the day of the month, should I say?
It was mid-May, and on a Tuesday night. I was also due to be going to see a concert the following night in London, which didn't happen in the end.
Ooh.
As McIlroy is into bowl, clipped off his legs neatly by Stoneman through the leg side. It'll be a couple of runs up towards deep mid-wicket, and Robson has to scamper home as it was enthusiastically chased by Carlson into the deep.
Which concert, and why did you not make it?
It was a Paloma Faith concert at whatever the Hammersmith...
Apollo?
Apollo is called these days.
Oh, is it not called the Hammersmith Apollo anymore?
It's got a sponsor's name on it. and she woke up with laryngitis that day.
Oh dear.
As that's clipped on the leg side, they'll take a quick single now. They would have had to hurry had Byram and Carlson not got in each other's way, and the batters were safely home. 39 without loss.
I still can't find the Wisden dinner. It must have been earlier than... What did you say it was, mid-May?
Mid-May. It was on a Tuesday night, I believe.
Wait, hold on a minute. We are mid-May. It's only the 17th. So
all right, mid-April then. Mid-April. These months all look the same. 39 for North Middlesex in reply to 183. McIlroy bowls and beats Robson with one that goes through low outside off stump. Taken by Cook, no run.
It does rather feel like we're into the third month of the season already, doesn't it? We're only, what, 6, 7...
What are we, game number 6 for Glamorgan?
Yeah, 6
Presume
for Middlesex.
It's the same for Middlesex as well.
With one round off, so this is 7th round of matches already.
39 for North Middlesex, just 144 runs in arrears with 10 wickets standing. McIlroy bowls. Nice turn of the wrists from Robson, works it away through mid-wicket. Crane with a chase, a scramble and a slide, and a slightly sloppy throw that eludes Chris Cook, but it was good enough to prevent the batters from taking a second run. 40 without loss Middlesex in over number 14. As Edward prepares to tell Radio Cymru listeners that it was a diwrnod siomedig unwaith eto, another disappointing day. As Stoneman is not ready to receive.
Smattering still in. 1 or 2 left, do you think? It feels a little quieter.
Yes,
Already
1 or
even
2
going
have
for
left.
tea.
1 or 2 have left. Disillusion from the home performance, maybe, as McIlroy bowls, and there's a bit of a yelp as Stoneman looked to work on the leg side. It was going down leg side, so not worth a serious appeal.
It was a yow. Yow.
As the ball's just about beaten the bat. Looks as though Lancashire's seconds will prevent Glamorgan 2s from getting a victory at Abergavenny. Lancashire still 6 down and 18 runs behind, but deep into the final session of that game. McIlroy bowls forward. Comes Stoneman and beats the cover fielder. It's fielded at wide mid-off, and they scamper through for a single. 41 without loss. The end of the McIlroy over, which cost 5 runs, and Middlesex really not suffering the same sort of alarms as Glamorgan did in that afternoon session, where they just bowled well to get enough out of the pitch, I think is the tale of the day. And the home supporters left to enjoy the weather, but little else.
I found the nights, because I'm going through all the awards now at the Wisden dinner. But I'm just seeing...
Mark Wood was there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, Wood.
He's the only one of the cricketers of the year who was able to attend.
Ah. No, it doesn't tell us. It doesn't speak to us after all that.
It may be not living long in the memory. Anyway, it's nice to be invited.
Here's Gorvin in bowls, and forward goes Stoneman defending into the offside. What have we got? 6.5 left tonight, 14.1 bowl. This is an excellent start for Middlesex, it must be said. 41 without loss. They trail by 142. If they get in none down tonight, it's a big achievement, and sets things up for tomorrow for the away team. Gorvin turns again. And moves in now to bowl. Oh, he's around the wicket now to Stoneman. I think the first time he's come around the wicket to the left-hander, and it's clipped off the legs for a single through square leg. One more to the total.
Perfformiad gwych gan yr gohebydd Radio Cymru, unwaith eto. Another excellent performance from the Radio Cymru reporter. But he'll be back in the language of English after I've done my radio update at 6.
Gorvin bowls, and this is eased by Robson into the offside, and there's no run. Oh, Yorkshire 1-2-1 for 5. He'd still 1-2-6 for 5. He'd still prefer be Yorkshire in that game, but it's tight. Middlesex with their one win this season against Yorkshire at Lords. Which for Middlesex is a big win to get one up on Yorkshire already. Route 47 holding it together.
We may get through tomorrow okay, weather-wise.
But Sunday now, are we looking at Sundays being a bad
No,
one?
Sunday's all right.
Oh, okay. So the thunderstorm's gone now. Forward goes Robson, pushing back to Gorvin into no run. It was all talk of thunder and lightning
The
earlier.
percentages have gone down somewhat, but you can never really tell, can you?
No.
According to the Met Office, let's see what the BBC has in store. The BBC still saying up to 50-60% chance of some rain tomorrow.
Gorvin bowls to Robson, strokes to point, it gets through. Ul Hassan rolling to his left, it's got through for a single.
We shall see what we shall see. A lot of club cricketers around, no doubt, Wales and the London area, hoping and praying that they'll get out in the middle and get an afternoon's action after what has been a very difficult start to the season for anyone trying to prepare a wicket.
Middle. Don't finish that chance. Please, Nick. We all know it.
Stump.
Here goes Gorvin around the wicket bowls, and this is pushed to cover, and there's no run. 43 without loss.
So Glamorgan struggling to make any headway.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? You know, fair play Helm. Helm was the difference for me. He was the one that blew the door open.
Yeah, everyone else was tidy though, weren't they? Bamboo only went for a run and half and over.
River End, James Harris.
Harris to have another blast then from the River Taff end. Glamorgan short on pace resources in this match. Just Ul Hassan to come in, the seam bowling, and then the spin of Crane, and no doubt we'll see a bit of northeast doing something at some point, of Labuschagne doing something at some point. Can't keep the ball off him. Gorvin up to 73 miles an hour in that last over. Low 70s from Andy Gorvin, medium pace. And
So he's slower than Ryan Higgins.
yes.
End of day mischief from me, Webby.
Harris is in to bowl, and on the back foot goes Robson.
And he races in like Mark Wood. That's what he's like. He's like Mark Wood running in. His legs really kick up behind him, Gorvin. They do. I can't believe it. Boom, 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 boom.
There are quite a few shots of him in the records of our little photography agency, Hugh Evans, when he is a long way off the ground in his bowling stride. Andy Gorvin, as Harris is into Robson, who turns the risks and knocks it away down towards backward square leg. Wanders through for a single. So Glamorgan bowlers finding life hard going.
No, the feeling. I mean, all that cake we had to try and get through today, it was hard work, that, Webby.
We faced up to the challenge.
I don't know if I'll manage it again tomorrow. Fatigue today. When you're tired, you eat too much, don't you? Especially sugary stuff. Late arrival last night. 2 closures on the M4, I mean, honestly.
Oh, that's bad luck.
Had one of them on the way to Bristol and then another one on the way, 2 on the way here.
Harris in, bowls, and Stoneman on the defensive on the back foot, plays back to the bowler.
It's actually not a bad, driving non-motorway from the west of England back to London, or from London back to the west of England, whichever way you want to look at it. It's actually quite lovely, isn't it? Especially Somerset. Somerset's a great one. It's out the real southwest. Driving back along, but no, that time of night when it's pitch black, you want to be on a motorway, don't you? Not country lanes.
Harris bowls, and Stoneman on the back foot defends to mid-on, and there's no run.
I set off to Worcestershire 2 years ago, I think it was, and I decided I wasn't going to take the motorway once on the way there.
All right.
So I looked at non-motorway option and looked at motorway option. It wasn't that different. It wasn't considerably different enough to make you think, oh, don't be silly. And off I went, back roads all the way to New Road. It was gorgeous, that drive.
All right.
Absolutely gorgeous. And again, the same when you come back from Taunton if you don't do the M4 way.
Harris bowls, and Stoneman plays to point, no run.
Through Stonehenge, you can even drive through Anthony Gibson's town, which the name deserts me, but there's...
Thought you were going to say Anthony Gibson's estate.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've racked up a few tolls there that are unpaid.
Anthony being our Somerset correspondent for those...
Oh, who doesn't know Anthony? Come on.
King of the
all the
West
years.
Country.
All the years. Yeah, King Arthur down there, isn't he?
Harris bowls, and Stoneman off a thick edge will get runs down towards backward points. No, make that singular. There's a good scramble by Crane. 45 without loss.
He said, one day I'll stop, Kevin. I said, why will you? And he said, well, I can't do it forever, can I? I said, well, why not? Just keep going. What would you stop for? Well, and he's still going. He listened to me.
45 for naught. Stoneman has 34. Robson has 10. This in reply to Glamorgan's 183 all out. We may well be getting a BBC Radio Wales update fairly shortly.
Should I be serious for a minute, just in case they cut in without us knowing?
I haven't heard anything from the studio, have you?
No. I'm
Right,
talking about Anthony Gibson as King Arthur and how good Sandra's brownies are.
Maybe I'd better
take
this
over.
if that's all right, and then I'll depart.
My sugar low is kicking in.
So Gorvin Harris's bowling speeds up to 80.3 in that last over. Gorvin will try and bowl straight, wicket to wicket, and induce mistakes. He's got men on the drive on either side, and just the one slip now as he bowls to Stoneman, who cuts down towards backward point. Dot ball. So this is the pattern that we've seen on several games this season at Sophia Gardens, with slip fielders disappearing relatively easy and early in proceedings, and then bowlers rely on accuracy and posting catches on the drive in front of the wicket. As Gorvin bowls up in the block hole, driven but not timed by Stoneman, fielded at mid-on, and there is no run. 45 for no wicket in reply to 183. Gorvin, legs pumping into bowl. Stoneman pushes forward and plays firmly to mid-off, and there's no run, and it looks as though these two have got their eyes on the close of being there undefeated. A stoic effort from Robson in particular. Stoneman has put away the bad ball. He's on 34 not out. Robson just 10 off 42 deliveries. Gorvin in, bowls pulled away down towards backward square, might go for 4. No, diving stop just inside the boundary, and they'll come back for a couple of runs. Update for BBC Radio Wales to come. Middlesex 47 for naught in reply to Glamorgan's inadequate total of 183 all out. Zainul Hassan with 34, Mason Crane 31 not out. Down the lower end were the only men who passed 30. Middlesex's Tom Helm 4 for 44 was the pick of their attack, but they bowled accurately as a unit, and Glamorgan had no response to it. And Middlesex's openers Stoneman and Robson going well in reply. Middlesex are 51 without loss with 4 overs to come. As that was off a thick edge from Stoneman down to the third man boundary for 4 runs, wide of the only slip. Applause desultory for Middlesex's half-century being recorded. Stoneman has 40 to Robson's 10.
Don't think he's offered a chance in this time either, is he, Stoneman?
No, he's just played a few nice shots. Nothing too extravagant. But has got Middlesex heading in the right direction and very firmly in control of this match this evening, which will conclude in relatively timely fashion. It's theoretically a 6 o'clock finish. It hardly ever is. As in comes Gorvin to bowl, and well, Stoneman mistimed that one completely. The ball just lobbed out. Had there been a short leg, he might have been out, but there wasn't, so he wasn't. 4 overs to go. Middlesex 51 without loss in reply to Glamorgan's 183, and those overs will be described by Edward Bevan and Kevin Hand.
Cheers. Nick Webb had a tweet or an X, a post, a message, what do you call it nowadays, from Peter Mead, who says, I'm just back from the northernmost part of England. What's the northernmost part of England, Ed?
Northumberland way, so.
Yeah.
No, this part, I don't know.
Is it Carlisle?
Could be.
Isn't that the most northern football club?
Where's
in England?
Gretton and Green?
Ah.
They're looking at the ball, would you believe, the umpires, Jack Shantry and Paul Baldwin.
He said, greetings please to the great Ed Bevan. I met him once at Oxford, says Peter Mead. I assume at the ground rather than the university, although you may have been lecturing that day, Ed.
Yeah, Merton College. No. Oh, thank you, Peter. Yeah, nice to meet you. Was it in a public house or was it at the ground, did he say?
I assume at the ground.
Beautiful ground, the parks. Used to enjoy going there. Glamorgan would always start their season sort of towards the end of April against either Oxford or Cambridge, and love going to both places.
I've never been to the parks or to Fennes.
Haven't you really?
No,
You missed a treat.
Well, yeah, it was kind of in terms of working capacity. I mean, obviously, I've got the choice that I could go and see them, but it's been after my time as such, or before my time, I should say. Those matches.
Glamorgan played. I think it was the combined universities, or it was a game at Fennes or Cambridge or whatever. I saw the most fearful collision I think I've seen in a cricket match, where David Hemp, you remember David Hemp, the left-hander, played for Glamorgan and Warwickshire. A high skyer, and David went for it, and coming charging at him was Hugh Morris. Neither heard each other's call, and poor old David Hemp crashed into Hugh, who was very well built, broke I don't know how many ribs, was rushed to hospital, and something else he damaged and was in hospital for a while, and that was at the Fennes ground. I always remember. I remember the old pavilion before they changed that at Fennes. And in the old days, of course, the Cambridge and Oxford and Cambridge just were very strong sides.
Yeah, wasn't there a famous game against Middlesex when a young upstart was coming back at Gat? His name was Nasser Hussain, I think. That
He
was
would,
the
wouldn't
famous
he?
stories.
James Harris is to continue, and he will be bowling at the right-handed Robson, the silent partner, if you like, yeah, and bowls to him, and he's played it, and it's well fielded in the gully there by Crane, and there's no run. 40 then to Stoneman, just 10 to Robson of 42 balls, but he's doing his job because the run rate is 3, and all is well. Gorvin has bowled tidily, 5 overs, 0 for 16, as did McIlroy. But it's Harris, who's been rather expensive, coming up from the river end and bowls. And this is driven firmly up to mid-off. There's no run. So just a couple of overs left. 2 and a bit. I wonder if we'll see an over from Crane tonight, bowling his little twirl, his leg spin. There's certainly Holman bowl well.
Yeah, I mean, the man who really changed the day was Helm, I think, wasn't he? Or set the tone for the day when he arrived.
Took those 2 quick wickets as Harris bowls. Oh, that's a good delivery. That beat Robson on the outside edge. The odd ball, he's still doing a bit, but yeah, he did beat him because he pulled his back afterwards. 21 balls left today, unless we have any wides or no balls. And the run rate has gone under 3 after that very quick start. Stoneman is on 40. He's watching as we do as Harris comes in and bowls to Robson. Robson plays it off the back foot up towards mid-wicket, down to the mid-wicket boundary for a single.
Yeah, it's a gentle finish to the day, which will disappoint Glamorgan, but tomorrow is another day, and keeping it tight, which is what we said for Middlesex this morning when they had that profligate start with the ball. All of a sudden it's a case of, right, tighten up then. If you're not going to threaten or take wickets, tighten up. But, well, Tom Helm took over, and it was a different matter altogether.
He did. Harris bowls and the left-handed Stoneman pushes it up to mid-on.
And Harris probably the best bet, because again, Helm, he was bowling at top form today. It was Helm at his best.
He did, as good as in any medium pace except for Seals Prowse bowling.
And yeah, that's what Nick said, that Seals last week was outstanding. But for Glamorgan, who's capable to go up those 2 gears from here at the moment? And I'm guessing, I've seen Harris do it myself, and no doubt he'd still be able to.
Here he is, bowled. This is driven up to mid-off. Yeah, he's experienced if he gets it right, but unfortunately he does concede quite a number of runs in every game. He took 4 in the last game against Sussex. And then in the second innings, you see 12 overs, 0 for 75. We're going to see a little bit of leg spin to end the night. It's be Mason Crane coming on this end, and it'll be described by Kevin.
Interesting to see James Harris's bowling speeds there very quickly, averaging around 80 in that over. This was one of the great things when he was at Middlesex, that they changed his action at Loughborough, didn't they, to try and get him to be a little bit quicker. And that basically was that for James Harris. It took a long, long while for him to get it back. And I remember in his final year at Middlesex,
he said to me,
I'm feeling great. I said, why, what's going on? He said, well, I've changed my action. Oh, how so? Well, I've gone back to how it used to be. The stories of Loughborough. Hey? Here's Crane then, to bowl to Robson on 11. There's a slip in place, and he loops that one up, and it's tickled into the onside for a single by Robson through mid-wicket. 53 without loss. And much like Holman earlier, we're almost advised to watch the screen for this one because it's in line, and we are not. And especially with a spinner, more so with a spinner, you want to be in line, don't you?
Yeah, he was not far off. I remember Hugh Morris telling me that when he was up at Lords as chief executive, or whatever position Hugh held, he'll just break off.
And here he comes again, Crane, and offers that one up and outside the off stump, left to low by Stoneman.
He was very close to the England side as he was bowling for Glamorgan. And then I'll never forget it. I was commentating here when Glamorgan were playing Middlesex, and somebody tapped the window. It was Gus Fraser. And
what do you want? Says Crane. Bowls outside the off stump, cut hard by Stoneman. He resisted the temptation of the last. There's a sweeper back, so just a single to the deep cover boundary.
And I said, I know why you're down here. And he said, why? You've come to see James Harris, haven't you? And as honest as the day, Gus said, yes, I have. Not long afterwards, he'd gone up to St John's Wood, and that was that.
Bit of flight, and Robson goes back to defend, which gets the excitement going from around the bat. He defends into the offside, no run.
It's a huge loss for Glamorgan.
It was. It was a huge gain for Middlesex, but again, it was. His Crane bowls and forward goes Robson. No run. He got the 9 for the second best post-war figures by a Middlesex bowler. He recorded at Lords against Durham. 9 foot behind Richard Johnson's 10 for 45 at Derby. Stephen Finn was the party pooper that day. So he goes Crane to Robson now, and the right-hander tickles through square again for a single. Goes to 14. And they were the second best bowling figures at
Just
Lord's
to
by
bring you
Gary
up to date for the
Allen.
events at Abergavenny, where the match between
Events at
Glamorgan's
Abergavenny.
second 11 and Lancashire's second 11 has just ended in a draw.
I said it in a draw.
In their second innings, Lancashire finished on
Breaking news from Glamorgan, 182 for 7. Lancashire finished in their second innings. Following on.
Oh. 4 for 26.
4 for 26 for Van der Gooten.
7 in the game, you'll be up in
This week,
less than next
time
week.
next week. Yeah, there you go.
Probably it'll be him and Hamza. So Harris is to continue with 3 runs of Crane's over.
I'll tell you who went well the other week, Ed.
Yeah.
Marched into Langer for
He did.
Gloucestershire at Bristol against Middlesex. Picked up 6 for in the first innings on the hybrid pitch.
First ball, and it's evaded first slip. It was very low. It was nowhere near a catch. Ingram went to try and stop it, and they go through for a single. Rapid, again, he is one that leaks runs. Remember Marcham when he was here, and then he went down to Somerset. But he again was one of the quickest bowlers I've seen in the circuit. But one of the nicest guys you could wish to meet.
Oh, lovely. He came up and did a stint on commentary.
Yeah.
Seaborn during the game.
Here's Harris to the left. And it's Stoneman bowls to him, and he defends in the line-up. Middle stump then. Stoneman's on 41, 14 to Robson, 56 without loss. You couldn't have wished for a better start.
No, you really couldn't. Glamorgan's big hope would have been to have a better start than Middlesex had this morning. Because Middlesex had a slow start.
2 tonight would have been useful.
Well, yeah.
But
just 1 or 2 quickly. Yeah, get in, get at them.
James Harris comes in past the umpire and bowls to Stoneman. Bowls him a bouncer, which is very well taken again by a diving Chris Cook. With those outstanding to see, you can pick them out anywhere. Yellow gloves. What's the colour of your gloves, Dick?
Black.
Black, he says. Wicketkeeper. Machin seconds. N Webb. Harris in bowls. Stoneman leaves. Conscious of the morrow. He knows that if he can go in tonight and not out, there are runs for him to get tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got 1.28 deliveries left of the day, and he's on 41. Looking for a second 50 of the summer. 97 against Glamorgan started the season. Just missed out.
Second innings, wasn't it?
Just missed out in that one. Was it second or was it first?
Must have been
first, must it?
Must have, because he didn't bat. This is tackled around the corner down to fine leg, and there is a single. Yeah, 97.
Second innings, was it?
Yeah. Carlson dismissed him. First innings.
First innings.
The only one innings, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Somerset, they're done for the day against Kent. Look at that. What riches for Anthony Gibson and Ben Watts, or whoever's on duty for Kent for that one. Stumps at 6:15.
We won't be far off it.
Yeah, we're not too bad, are we? Yeah, that's not bad with 10 wickets
Seamus
there as well.
Bowling all day. Here's Harris. And gets a thick outside edge, does Robson. That might just run away for 4. It's a long chase and stopped a metre in, flicked back by one player to the other. It was Eddie Byram flicking it back to Labuschagne, but they go through for runs.
Funny old day at Somerset. 440 on the board, but 7 wickets. Maybe a short boundary on one side. Banton 133, Rue 114.
Banton's adapted himself well this season to 4-day cricket. That's the end of the over, and it's up to Kevin to describe the final over, and I'll give a resume of the day's play, and then we can
get some
retire
more
to your hotel.
Get some more food. Surrey 213 all out. Worcestershire 111 for 6 at the Oval.
Yeah, I suspected it might be something like that.
3 for Worrell for Surrey, and Notts 199 for 8 against Hampshire. 4 for Abbas. 89 for James for Nottinghamshire. Hanging in there with Harrison 25 and Stone 24, but those two have gone. Pennington's not out on 4. Lancashire 335 for 9 against Durham. 115 for Jennings. 3 for Rain, 2 for Potts, 2 for Stokes. And Warwickshire, 302 for 6. Yeah,
Good
6 at Chelmsford, 114 for Barnard. Yes, there's quite the recovery, 100 for Burgess, having been 64 for 5. Here's a lot of flight from Crane to begin the final over of the day, and Robson defends on the front foot, pushing back into the offside. There's no run. Division 2, Northants 294 for 5 at Derbyshire. 73 Keogh. Bartlett's gone for 76. Broad has 27 now. Gloucestershire 385 for 2 at Leicestershire. As outside the off stump, Robson swings a drive, misses, cry of catch. Where it ended up, I do not know, but Robson kicked out his right foot. Let's have a look. So he swung at it. It bounced down and up. So the cry of catch was a nonsense, but he nearly played on.
Very last moment, isn't it?
Down, up, and then where's it going to go to? He's kicked it away. Fine footwork from Ange Postecoglou. Would have been proud of that one, wouldn't he?
He's not happy, Benny.
No, he's not, is he? This is pushed to point. 60 without loss midway through the 21st.
Do you think this is a well-run club? No.
Yes.
So it was an interview the other day against Man City.
Yeah, and don't usually last long after saying things like that, do they? Yorkshire 149 for 5, Sussex 150 all out, so Yorkie's doing well. There's Crane bowls, forward goes Robson. There's a silly point in place. Right under the nose of Robson. And that's it, isn't it? Leicester, I was looking for Sussex, but they're not in action this round. Next
Leicester.
up... yeah, they are. Sorry, so it's Sussex who are 150 all out against Yorkshire, isn't it? So here's Robson, clips just fine of the short leg fielder, and they'll take a single. So Robson has 18, and his day is done. It's over to Stoneman for the last ball of day 1 here at Cardiff, and it's been a lovely day. Look at the shadows stretching now, Ed.
Yeah.
For the first time, the scene today has changed from 11 o'clock this morning, the glorious sunshine we've had all day, and the change is that you can just see the long shadows stretching out besides the players. The sun over our left shoulder as we sit at the Cathedral Road end. Last ball of the day, and it's Crane, right arm over, he bowls a quicker one, and Stoneman cuts him away down to deep backward point. A single takes Stoneman to 43. Robson has 18. Middlesex has 62 without loss at stumps on day 1. That in reply to Glamorgan's 183, which I think we can safely say now, Ed Bevan, below par.
Undoubtedly, Middlesex his day. They read the pitch well. They put Glamorgan into bat. Despite a good start, 44 for the first wicket, Glamorgan soon collapsed and lost 3 wickets in mid-innings for just 2 runs. They managed through the tail enders to get to 183, but there have been no problems whatsoever for the Middlesex openers. Stoneman leading the way with an aggressive innings, and Robson, his partner, has also been very careful. 43 to Stoneman, 18. Glamorgan with a lead of just 131. Middlesex have 10 wickets in hand, and if Glamorgan don't pick up some quick wickets tomorrow, then I think they're going to face a very long day in the field. Not only tomorrow, possibly the third day as well. A lot to play for, and Glamorgan will be hoping for some quick wickets. So that's it from a sunny Sophia Gardens. Thanks to Nick Webb and to Kevin Hans, and from me, Edward Bevan. It's a very good night to you all. Nos da chigid.
Start of the year.
Roland Jones past the umpire, he bowls. It's full straight and it's driven down the ground. Lovely shot. Glorious from Byram. Pops open.
Labuschagne turns this one on the leg side through mid-wicket, and he's timed that one perfect.
Cathedral Road end. Right arm over, and the right-handed Labuschagne's forward. Driving down the ground for 4. Imperious. Didn't even... Jones to Byram. And the left-hander drives wide of mid-on, and it's going to be 4 more. Just go full early. As Roland Jones is in, he bowls, and this one length is dragged back, but he's too straight, and he's clipped for 4 more through square leg. 25. Roland Jones, last ball of the 6th over, his 3rd. He's driven, and it gets past cover, and it's going to beat mid-off as well.
As the sun comes through, and bowls to Byram, who drives beautifully through the offside, stylishly up through...
Keeping pace with Sussex, felled by Glamorgan last week, as his Helm, a lovely open face, races away, fine of the cover fielder for 4. That's awaits. Helm is past the umpire. He bowls. Oh, goodness me, that's driven on the up in front of Fernandez at point. What a glory. Games as well. Joe Root was saying is his Helm. He's in, bowls, and that is nicked through, and Labuschagne goes up.
Current incumbent Chris Cook.
Helm bowls, and it's defended up to
The ball.
mid-off.
Around the wicket from the river end, he bowls, and that ball's short, and it strikes him, and he's gone! No! Oh, can you believe it? Generally in Wales, here's Higgins in to northeast. It's short, and it's hooked away to deep backward square. Northeast moves to 12. Moves to...
It'll be Bamber to open up after lunch, and Carlson drives through the covers and will get runs here. May just for two. Bamber into bowl, cut by Carlson and caught. Is that carried? Carlson can't believe.
Helms in, bowls full again. This time he doesn't get away with it. It's driven fine of Stoneman at cover, and it's a short boundary. So Stoneman.
And for the Sunday families, as Ingram drives through the covers, he's got that one away.
Fernandez is the backward point. His Helm, oh, off stumps out of the ground. Well, that's as spectacular as it gets for a seam. Helm hits the crease, he bowls, and bowls him! Cook shoulders arms, he's off stump.
Proposals as Bamber is in and bowls him! Colin Ingram's middle stump is leading.
Here's Roland Jones again, and that's played off his legs there, down towards fine leg by Harris. He's going to get 4 runs. Eventually caught as in comes the next ball, and that's... Oh, he's hit his off pole out. Nip back, left for the...
As Crane has a go at this one, helps it round on its way down.
Double bluff. As in comes Roland Jones. Bowls. It is short, and it's 4 runs.
Will come Higgins then. Bowls to Ul Hassan, who drives nicely down the ground. That should have the legs to reach the boundary.
Ball. As Roland Jones comes in, bowls. And this is edged, perfectly safe, down towards the third man boundary. It's a long shot. Roland Jones bowls down the leg side. Good take by... No, it wasn't a good take. It's 4 more. Yes, you will. Next ball is hit away. That'll go for 4, down towards wide third man.
Can only go for beef sausage. This is Holman. A reverse sweep and taken at slip. Oh, wow. Fine catch. I think Deploy predicted it. The non-strikers then, Crane drops his bat almost in disgust, I think. Reverse sweep from Ul Hassan. He falls for 34. And Holman, well, he and Ul Hassan seem to be having a fair old ding-dong, and, well, I say ding-dong. Helm midway through the 70th, bowls short onto the hip, down to fine leg. It's worked quite neatly by Crane, who last time in what seems an extremely long 70th over. Bowls short down the leg side, and it's worked away fine again. And yeah, I'm not sure this is working. Helm.
They were in the throes of despair at 103 for 7. It's short ball, and this could be...
Luke Holman, an extended chance, and
Bowl.
he's bowled him. McIlroy pushing forward. Beaten by...
Left arm over the wicket, comes in now to the left-handed Stoneman, and he nudges it away down to third man, thick outside edge, and
Harris in, bowls on leg stump, clipped away through square leg by Stoneman. In comes Harris again. Bowls on leg stump, 4 more through square leg, and this is just what...
Roy comes in again and bowls to Robson. Robson drives and doesn't time it. He'll get runs down towards cross there. Oh, very quaint.
Harris in bowls and onto the hip. It's worked fine by Stoneman for 4. Harris is in bowls. Open face drive. Oh, that races. He's over the wicket as he bowls, and he's driven through point. And that will be 4 more, cover point this side.
But they bowled accurately as a unit, and Glamorgan had no response to it. And Middlesex's openers, Stoneman and Robson, going well in reply. Middlesex are 51 without loss.